Can you discuss how has legislation changed around NHDs and how that is important for homeowners and other real estate professionals?
Sure. Well, the first natural hazard legislation came about after the 1971 San Fernando Valley earthquake, Silmar earthquake. And this really changed building codes because prior to that time, builders didn't really take into account earthquake fault zones. And building codes really changed after that. So they imposed setbacks so you could not build structures right on top of any active faults. And what we've seen over the years and over the decades is that once there's a major natural hazard that has occurred, you'll see legislation get passed after that. So after the 89 earthquake, we saw the seismic hazard map legislation pass. That was an effort to map out landslide areas and liquefaction hazards. Because of the Oakland Hills fire, soon after that, we had the Bates Bill get passed, and that was an effort to map out very high fire hazard severity zones. And so, but these things have evolved over the years, right? Because now we have more fire zone legislation that's passed because fires are such a hot topic in the state of California. The seismic hazard maps, those have been really slow to come out. Most of the major populated areas around California, the seismic hazard maps are released, but they are still, like I mentioned before, they are coming out with new maps in February in Contra Costa County. So they still have a long way to go as far as mapping out the whole state. But as far as other legislation goes, we've seen things get passed, whether it's airport influence areas, things that are almost man-made, considered even formerly used defense sites, right? These are areas where the military once owned and operated Department of Defense activities on the site. And what happened in the 1980s, three children, I think, were killed detonating like an anti-tank shell in San Diego. And it was the Tierra Santa area of San Diego, where it was a World War II training area, right? And so what happens is like you have something bad happens, legislation gets written, said now you're going to have to start disclosing that within, if you're buying property within 1 mile of any of these defense sites, that will need to be disclosed. So that's what we see in California. When something bad happens, legislation gets passed. And who knows what's next? It's kind of hard to envision what's the next bit of legislation going on. But lately, it's been mostly fire hazard legislation.
Check the full episode on our YouTube channel and on Apple Podcast.